Good day, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to today's webinar. I'm Catherine from GoodWe Solar Academy. Today, our Senior Solution Engineer, Eric, will give you an excellent webinar about GoodWe's new PV building material product, Polaris series, as well as GoodWe energy storage solution, including storage inverter, battery, and EV charger. What's more, this system can be applied to many scenarios. In addition, if you have any questions during the webinar, you can post them in the Q&A box. Please don't post them in the chat box in case we will miss out. If your questions are left due to limited time, we will contact you by email after the webinar. Also, there will be a lucky draw section at the end of it. We will randomly draw 5 audiences from the background. The prize is $20 Amazon gift card. Winners will receive a notification email from the community after the webinar. The replay of this webinar will be uploaded to our community 1 or 2 work days later. Our website is community.goodwe.com. Okay, that's so much for the opening. Hope you enjoy the next hour with us. Let's get started.
Hello, everyone. This is Eric from GoodWe Solar Academy. And today, I will give you a brief introduction of GoodWe energy storage solutions. Hello, everyone. This is Eric from GoodWe Solar Academy. And today, I will give you a brief introduction of GoodWe energy storage solutions. GoodWe energy storage solutions include multiple products, include the PV panels. We have the Polaris tiles and our hybrid inverter, lithium battery, and the EV charger. Maybe you are familiar with GoodWe. GoodWe is a manufacturer of grid-tied inverter and storage inverter. But now GoodWe have some other products, for example, the PVBM, the battery, and the EV charger. So today I will introduce the whole system to share to you. And the first is our new product, the Polaris tile. This is our new product of PVBM, and we have 2 types of this product, BMTP1 and the BMTP2. The only difference is the size of cell. The P1 is used 166 cell, and the BMTP2 we use the 182 cell PV cells, and so the output power is different for these 2 types. The P1 is 300 watts and P2 is 365 watts. And this is our new product, and it is different from the conventional PV modules. We have it can work using multiple application scenarios, and it has the same language with the buildings, and it has the reliable structures. It has the excellent waterproof function, and it is very easy to clean and maintain. First, I will introduce our excellent self-cleaning ability. And you know, the Polaris cell is, we do not have, there is no shading up and down of the Polaris series compared to the conventional modules. If we are using the conventional modules, there may be some dust on edges, but there is no edges of our Polaris series. So we have the excellent self-cleaning ability. And second, we have our structure waterproofing. Okay. The left side is our Polaris series. It has single tile dispersion drainage, and compared to the right side, the conventional modules, it has the centralized drainage of the waterproofing. So we have the excellent function when if there is raining or snowing. If we are using the conventional PV modules, many installer and end user may be found there is some block between the PV modules, and sometimes it will affect the PV production. But when you use our Polaris series PV modules, there is no blocks between the PV modules, so it can generation more power to our home. Okay, at the back side of the PV modules, when we are using the conventional PV modules, for example, they have the subconductor sink and the main sink of the main water sink, and there is some connection terminals for the positive and negative of the PV modules. So that is very complicated of the back side, but it's very clean for the Polaris series because we only have the main structure of the of this PV station, and we have hide all the PV connectors and all the water sink. It is the same. Okay. Also, our Polaris series PV module have the reinforced structure safety. It has the chamber reinforced design. It have each module will have the 3 chambers, and compared to the conventional PV module, it only have 1 chamber. And also we have tests in some. We have to do the tests, and we also get the certification of the. When we do the test, we have the structured demonstration of the Polaris series and compared to the conventional PV modules. Okay, the second part is a GoodWe hybrid inverter storage, hybrid energy storage inverter. Okay. This is our product map. We have the hybrid inverter and the AC coupled inverter. For the hybrid inverter, we have the full range from 3 kilowatt to 30 kilowatt for residential use, and we also have the both single phase and 3-phase storage inverter. For the single phase, we have from 3 kilowatt to 10 kilowatt, and for the 3-phase, we have the storage inverter from 5 kilowatt to 30 kilowatts. I need to mention that the ESG2 is our new product, and from 3 kilowatt to 6 kilowatts, it is the single phase, and it can connect to the low voltage battery. It has some new functions. For example, it can be paralleled when the grid is failed, and it can also connect to the generator. It has some new function compared to our ES series. And also we have another new product, ET15 to 30 kilowatts. It is we call it a large ET because in some countries the requirement is become larger. For example, the customer maybe have installed 30 kilowatt PV modules, but they do not have some inverter to work with this kind of scenario. Also, we have our AC coupled inverter, which can retrofit the grid-tied inverter to be a storage inverter system. And this is some features of GoodWe storage inverter. First is the one-stop solution. GoodWe provide all the components that needed for our installer. So the installer do not need a separate purchasement from other company. For example, we have provided the smart meter and the CT. Also, we have provided some cables. For example, like the communication cable between the battery and the inverter. Also, we provide the communication cable between the inverter and the smart meter, and we have provided some communication modules. For example, the Wi-Fi module, the Bluetooth module for our customer to communicate to the server or to our cell phone. Also, we have the UPS level switch time. To realize that we have 3 relays inside of the inverter. When the grid is available, relay 1 and relay 2 is closed, so the inverter will support both on-grid load and backup load at the same time. And when the grid failed, the relay 1 and relay 2 is open and relay 3 is closed. So the inverter will only supports the backup load when the grid failed. And the switch time for these 3 relays, we can realize it within 10 milliseconds. This is compared to some, we call it the UPS level switch time. And some manufacturer only can realize the EPS level switch time. That means when the grid failed, the home load will shut down first, then restart it. And also we have the quick installation and the commission. When our installer finish the installation of the PV panels, we think they only need 20 or 45 minutes to install the hybrid inverter and the battery, because it's very easy to install it. We only need to install the PV, the battery, and the AC side, the cable, and the backup side cable. Also, we need to do the Wi-Fi configuration. When we do the Wi-Fi configuration, we need to use the cell phone to connect to the inverter, and we have some different methods to connect the storage inverter to the cell phone. First is the storage inverter has its own Wi-Fi signal, and we just need to use the Wi-Fi function of our smart cell phone, then connect to the inverter's Wi-Fi. Then we can turn on the PV master to do the configuration. And also we can use the Bluetooth function to connect to our cell phone. Then we can start the configuration of the inverter. And if the inverter have already connected to the home router, you just need to use your cell phone to connect to your home router, and you can find the inverter serial number in your cell phone, and you just need to click, then you can start configuration. And if you do not stand near the storage inverter, you can use GoodWe platform to configure the storage inverter at anywhere. And when we use our cell phone to configure the storage inverter, firstly, we need to choose a safety code, because we need the different country have different safety code, and the customer needed to choose which country we are using. For example, if the customer install the storage inverter in Germany, the customer can choose Germany's safety code, and the different country have different safety codes. And the second, the customer needs to choose the work mode. For example, we have 4 modes: the general mode, the backup mode, the off-grid mode, and the economic mode. And the third step is the customer needs to choose the lithium battery, because our storage inverter can work with many brand and series lithium batteries. For example, a GoodWe or BYD, LG, and other battery manufacturers. But different battery manufacturers have different protocols. So the customer needs to choose which battery the customer are using. And the last step is the meter test. We can check if the meter installed correct or not itself. Last feature is the 100 bidirection unbalanced 3-phase output, because if the grid is 3-phase, but most of the home load is single-phase, so the power of each phase is unbalanced, and we can realize the 3-phase unbalanced output function. And the third product of this system is the lithium battery, and GoodWe also can provide the Lynx U series, the low voltage battery, and the rated voltage is 51.2 volts, and the battery type is LFP, and the installed energy is 5.4 kilowatt hour, and it can be paralleled from 1 piece to 6 pieces. So the usable energy, so the whole battery system capacity can be 5.4 to 32.4 kilowatt hour. I think it can meet most of the customer requirements. Also, GoodWe have the Lynx F series, the high voltage battery, and it can it have the IP protection of the IP55, and it can use indoors and outdoors. And the battery type is the same LFP, and each battery module, the capacity is 3.26 kilowatt hour. And the customer needs to use the module between 2 and 5. For example, if the customer use the 5 module, the battery system capacity is 60.4 kilowatt hour. Also, if the customer want to use more batteries, the link safe battery also can be paralleled, and the maximum parallel number is 8. So the maximum battery capacity is maybe 128 kilowatt hour. Okay. Also, GoodWe have this new product, the GoodWe EV charger. And we have 3 types of this EV charger from 7 kilowatts for the single phase, and 11 kilowatt and 22 kilowatts for 3 phase. Have integrate some multiple protections, for example, overcurrent, short circuit, and over voltage, and so on. And also we have integrated some such as the RCD, and we have installed both wall and floor. Also, this EV charger can work with GoodWe storage inverter, grid-tied inverter, and the battery. For example, we can choose the faster charge mode. That means it will charge at the maximum power. And also, the customer can choose, for example, the PV only. That means the EV charger only will get the power from the PV. That will do not get the power from the grid, and it will adjust the charge power based on the PV production. Also, if the customer are using the GoodWe storage inverter, and the customer can choose the charge mode to be PV and battery, it means the customer electronic vehicles will get the power from only PV and battery. It will not get power from the grid. So it can be, it means we can realize the customer can control the production of the PV by our cell phones. And the operation logic of the whole system is the PV supply priorities will support the load first. For example, we'll support the EV charger first. Then if the PV has the rest power, it will store the power to the lithium battery. And if the battery is full, and it can feed the power to the grid. Also, if in some countries, the grid do not allow the power feed to the grid, we can set the 0 export. And during nighttime, the battery will discharge to support the load. And in this scenario, the smart meter is very important, and we should make sure the smart meter and the CT is installed correctly. And the load consumption priority is the home load, or the EV charger will get the power from the PV first. And if during nighttime there is no PV, it will get the power from the battery. And if the battery is empty, it will get the power from the grid. When the grid failed, only the EV charger connect to the backup side will get the power from solar panels and the linked home batteries. You know, the GoodWe storage inverter have 2 AC outputs, the grid side, the on-grid output, and the backup output. When the grid failed, the PV panels and the battery will only support the load connected to the inverter backup side. These are our AC retrofit solutions. which we are using the AC coupled storage inverter. That means if the customer have installed a gray-tied inverter, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and the customer want to upgrade this gray-tied inverter to be a storage inverter, the customer do not need to remove the ungraded inverter, and they just need to add another AC coupled inverter. And the AC coupled inverter ungraded output will connect to the storage inverter, connect to the gray-tied inverter output. And also this system can realize the backup output when the grid failed. You know, when the grid failed, if the customer do not install the AC coupled inverter, the solar panels is wasted because the grid-tied inverter cannot work without the grid. But if the customer are using this AC coupled inverter, when the grid failed, the load connected to the storage inverter backup side, it can get the power from the battery to charge the electronic vehicles. And if the ungraded inverter is not from GoodWe, but the customer want to use the GoodWe AC coupled inverter, GoodWe also support this because we have developed our own smart meter, and it have 2 CTs. The CT1 will detect the power from the grid, and the CT2 will detect power from the ungraded inverter. That means the CT2 will detect the AC output of the grid-tied inverter. So the grid-tied inverter brand can be any, not only a GoodWe. Our parallel solution for 3-phase, and you know, the maximum capacity of our ET series is only 10 kilowatts. And before we publish the ET 50 to 30 kilowatts, if the customer want to set up a new system for 30 kilowatt, we can realize it by a 3 ET series parallel, and it can connect to the, for example, each ET series can connect to 10 kilowatt PV panels, and it can connect the backup loads separately, and it can connect to the AC output parallel to the grid to support the heavy load. And the maximum capacity of this system is 100 kilowatts. That means the maximum for ET 10 kilowatts is 10 PCs. And also it can realize the unbalanced output. And for example, if the phase 1 is 10 kilowatt, phase 2 is 20 kilowatt, we also can realize it. And also we can realize the smart control function. We can use our cell phones to control the whole system at the same time. The customer do not need to control it one by one. This is, if the grid is single phase, we also can realize the parallel solution for single phase. We can use our new product ESG2 series, and we can parallel both on-grid side and backup side. For the on-grid side, it can connect parallel to the grid and to the main board of the house. And for the backup side, each inverter can be parallel to the same load, to the same big load. And the maximum capacity of the ESG2 parallel function is 3 pieces, and so the total is 18 kilowatts. There's some other solutions, for example, the load monitoring, because if the customer are using the storage inverter, it is very important for the end user to know the PV production, the battery charge and discharged power, and also the house load consumption is from the PV or the battery or the grid. And GoodWe monitoring platform can show all the data to our end user, and it's for free. So this is our new function of the load control solution, and it can only realize in ET and ESG2 series. Means if the customer only want to control one big load, for example, the electronic vehicles, we can use the dry contact to control it. off, and it can be controlled on our app Master. This is about monitoring and the VPP. For the local monitoring, we can use Wi-Fi modules, Wi-Fi and the LAN modules, Bluetooth module. Also, we can use the 4G module, and we also can have some protocols. For example, the Modbus RTU, Modbus TCP, and the suspect protocols for the local monitoring. And if the storage inverter have already connected to the home router, the home router will send the storage inverter data to the GoodWe server. The GoodWe server is located, for example, in Australia, in Germany, and in Hong Kong. Also, we have we are planning to establish some new servers, for example, in USA and in some countries. And if the customer have their own servers, they can use Open API and the data transmission function to transfer data from GoodWe server to the customer own server to show in different platforms. And if the customer uses the GoodWe server, the customer can visit GoodWe web platform and the smart app to get the information of the storage inverter and the grid head inverter anywhere. This is our smart home systems. If the customer are using a storage inverter and the grid-tied inverter, it can connect to some, for example, the smart plug and the gateway to control the smart plug on or off. This is the full range of the solar storage and the charging system product. I think it is a smart and safe solutions for our installer and end users. And the application scenario, because for the Polaris series PV building material, we can use for the freestanding carport, and some, for example, the highway service stations, and the charging stations. It's very popular in some countries, the charging station. The charging station can use the Polaris series to get the power from the storage inverter. Also, if you are interested in GoodWe storage solutions, or you can visit GoodWe Solar community, and you can get the latest product introduction videos and the installation videos. And also, we can chat on this community each other. And if the customer have some questions and suggestions for our product and our solutions, we can chat on GoodWe Solar community at any time. That's all I want to show GoodWe some new product and the storage solutions to us. Okay. Check some questions. This is can the priority be changed? Yes. For example, if the customer want to the PV panel to charge the battery first, then suppose the home load, it also can be set in our control map PV master. Is AC couple a separate device? Yes, it is a separate device for our AC coupled inverter, but for the hybrid storage inverter, it is the integrate both DC couple and AC couple function. So the hybrid inverter also can realize the grid to charge the battery. The new ET 50 to 30 kilo parallel off grid and up to how many kilowatts? We will do the the larger ET for the 50 to 30 kilowatt period of grid function, but we do not realize now. So maybe next year we can realize this function. Which of the products are available in India? I think all these single phase and three phase can be used in India. Yes, also it have other questions. Limits advice guideline limit for sizing GoodWe hybrid inverter per kilowatt per battery from 1 kilowatt. 1 kilowatt can go up to yes. The battery and the inverter can be combined at for example, if the customer only want to use a 5 kilowatt storage, single phase storage inverter, and the customer want to install more battery for this. The customer can choose, for example, from 5 kilowatts to 30 kilowatts. It is based on the requirement of our customer. It can be combined very freely. Can the ESG2 be configured in three phase? Yes, it can use the when the grid is available, it can use in three phase. For example, the customer use three pieces of ESG2 series, and it can work in this three phase. But if when the grid failed, the three ESG2 series cannot be used in three phase now, and we will realize this function later. Confirm for all the storage inverter, we do not have the external fan. So for example, the voice of the inverter is very small. We have been recommending and using GoodWe. Yes, also, of course, the GoodWe AC coupled solution will be compatible with GoodWe SDT-G2 series, but you need to use the three-phase AC coupled inverter, the BT series. About the warranty on batteries, we have the product warranty and the performance warranty. The product warranty is 5 years, and the performance warranty is for the 10 years, and it will have another 60% of DOD after 10 years. The customer can get the menu from GoodWe website. Yes, for some of our storage inverter can be used in full off-grid scenario, but some storage inverter can only be used in some backup scenario. The grid is available, but sometimes it will shut down. Yeah. If you have any other questions, you can send the information to us, and we will reply or send the email to you one by one. And that's all for today's sharing. So wish you have a good day. Thank you.